with their rusty exercise equipment and billboards with gory images of what could happen in a car accident if you don't take care while driving. People crowd onto the bus at the stations of towns and small cities. At one stop, a pregnant woman waddles down the aisle. I automatically stand to give her my seat. She smiles gratefully, but moves one step past the seat I just vacated and ushers a little girl in pigtails, who was hidden behind her, to sit down. Immediately, I regret giving up my seat to this little emperor. But then I see the mother's protruding abdomen bump against the girl's head when the bus lurches on, and I remember that I was once like that little girl. A first child, showered with attention, indulged, until I was pushed aside by a second child. My brother, who is dead. What could have happened, I wonder and wonder, questions stopping up my muddled feelings of bewilderment, old jealousies, guilt that I'm not sadder. Was he hit by a car in traffic? Has he been sick? What sort of terrible disease could strike so fast? The last time I spoke with Mama, Bao-bao was due to take the Gaokao, the 2-day, 9-hour entrance exam for college, which he'd been preparing for since middle school when my parents whisked him away from Willow Tree Village. That was when he went to live with them in Taiyuan, where they paid to send him to a much better middle school than the one in the village, and then to a high school, which always costs, but even more so for someone without a city resident ID. He just finished his final year, and when I talked to Mama, she was taking off 3 days of work from the scrap metal plant to get him ready for the test. She had been stocking him with test pencils and fresh erasers, buying him lucky red clothes, brewing brain-rejuvenating tea, and cooking all kinds of nourishing foods to take to the hotel where they would stay to be closer to the testing site. When Mama told me all that, I felt a hardening in my chest and an urge to push the end call button on the phone, though I could never actually hang up on her. That bitterness is still with me when I reflect on how much they've always favored him, how much they gave him. But now I'm hit by the suffering that Mama and Baba must be experiencing. They spent all those years preparing Bao-bao for the exam, hoping that he would test into a good university, the only way to get past a future of farming or factory work. They made so many sacrifices, the years separated from us, the mind-numbing toil in the bad city air, all the money spent on his school tuition, books, and tutoring. Even though I am oddly lacking in my own sorrow for Bao-bao, I know Mama and Baba must be submerged in grief, and I resist the urge to keep ringing and texting them to pry out what happened. The bus pulls into Taiyuan around 11 at night, but the city still seems awake. Taiyuan is only a third-tier city, but the avenues within the metropolitan area are as wide as highways and lined with businesses and industrial parks, dizzyingly bright with lighted signs of every color. I texted my parents the time of my arrival, but they didn't respond. Now, I get off the bus and enter the vast, dimly lit station, unsure if anyone will be here to meet me. As I aimlessly follow the other passengers into the echoing building, I start to worry about how I'll find Mama and Baba's apartment, since I've only been to Taiyuan once before. Na! Na! Mama's throaty voice chokes out my name before I see her. There she is, rushing toward me across the lobby, through the straggly crowd of weary passengers who glance at me as she flies by them. Her smallness surprises me, as it always does. The last time I saw her was 5 months ago in our village during the spring festival. She was lively and full of plans then, helping Nai scrub the house and make noodles and dumplings for the New Year feast. Now, she looks thin as a child, her face painfully pinched. Her hair is a black, unruly frizz in the heat. She reaches out to me and clasps my arms, squeezing them, before one hand slides up to stroke my cheek. She smiles at first, painfully, but after a moment her face cracks and tears are streaming. Mama, my voice breaks. I've never seen her cry, and my stomach flips with anxiety.